أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم أفمن كان على بينة من ربه كمن زين له سوء عمله واتبعوا أهواءهم سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu, and a very warm welcome to episode 14 of this Qur'an with Sam series, where we're doing a whole walkthrough of the whole of the Surah of Muhammad. First and foremost, I'd like to apologise, we haven't done any videos for the past month. I had COVID at the beginning of the month, and I was out of action for the time of the month when I usually record videos. So unfortunately, it was difficult, but alhamdulillah, we're back now by Allah's generosity and His mercy. So, a couple of announcements before we go through this particular ayah. So, first and foremost, obviously, all of the bonus resources are on Patreon. We create bonus resources for each one of these lessons with grammar notes, vocab list, give you the ayah, give you the translation that we're going by and stuff like that. So, yeah, and then obviously the £3 a month that you contribute goes a really long way. Obviously, as I mentioned, sometimes it's difficult to get recording space, sometimes it's difficult to get the time for it and things like that. And those of you who support on Patreon, you are the guys who make it happen, so thank you so much for that. Next thing is Arabic in 60 Steps program is open, so a huge congratulations to all of you guys who have joined the Arabic in 60 Steps program in the past month or so. A very, very warm welcome to you guys, and I hope that all of you who have joined the academy as well are really enjoying that too. So yes, any of you who want to get your place on the Arabic in 60 Steps program, just go to arabic60steps.com. I'll stick the link in the description section below, or you can just, as I say, go to the domain name. It's not too difficult to remember. So let's get into it. So what do we have? We begin with This is Aliful Istifham. This is a question. When is at the beginning, this is a yes or no question, but not necessarily expecting an answer, right? Like, you know, there isn't actually any punctuation in the Qur'an, right? Punctuation isn't something that early Arabic has, so there wouldn't be question marks. But the way that Arabic indicates that something is a question, even if it's rhetorical and isn't expecting an answer, is it will use hel at the beginning or an alif like this. Good. So we know that a question's coming up. Famen. So this is also something we can pull apart to fa and men. Fa usually means so or something like that. In this case, it's not necessarily saying so who, but we can maybe just use that for now until we kind of build it up. So the men means who, by the way. That is a question word. Famen. So who? Kana ala bayinatin. So who is, kana we can translate is here. Kana is a verb though in itself. You can conjugate it. Kana in the past tense, sort of meaning he or it was, and yakunu in the present tense, he is or it is. Ala bayinatin. So is who is upon bayina. Who is upon bayina. Bayina, it means, it sort of means evidence or proof. There are other words for evidence and proof in Arabic, but, you know, who is upon evidence, right? But it kind of has a connotation of meaning like scriptural proof, if you know what I mean. Al-bayina. Yeah. Al-bayina. It shares its roots with kind of eloquence and stuff, like they're upon proof. As I say, there's other words for proof and evidence, but we can use bayina as that here. So we'd sort of put this together and we'd say something like, so is the one who is upon evidence min rabbihi, from his Rabb, from his Lord. So is the one who is upon evidence from his Lord, kaman, like who? This ka, those of you on the 60 Steps program, we meet this word in step 2 actually, so really early in the program. It means like, okay? Ana ka rajulin, I'm like a man. Huwa ka asadin, he's like a lion, right? We can say ka, just to mean like, but in this case it's kaman. So is the one who is upon evidence from their Lord, like who? Zuyina. Who? Zuyina. So zuyina is passive, by the way, step 8 for those of you guys on the program. Zuyina, so it's a passive of zayyana. Zayyana means to make something seem beautiful. Zayyana, it's a form 2 verb, and hollow as well. But zuyina is that it has been made beautiful. Okay, something has been made beautiful. Lahu, to him. So, like the one who has been made beautiful to him, su'u amalihi is the next bit. So, So the word order is very different to what we'd have in English. So let's kind of do them one at a time, and then I'll reorder them in a way to make it a bit easier for our kind of English sentence structure brains. So let's just deal with su'u amalihi first and foremost. So su', it means evil, right? It essentially means evil. As I say, there are other words for evil like shar and some others, but su' in this case is evil. Let's see what Abdul Halim actually says. Yeah, they're evil, right? So, and then your amal are your actions. So the evil of his actions, because it's amalihi, right? This is still an idafa construction. It's not, whenever we say the something of something, in this case, the evil of his deeds, we're expecting a different structure to this usually. We're expecting, if we're going to say like the evil of shaitan, for example, we'd have su'u shaitani, right? Or su'u shaitana rather. Okay, so the su' of the shaitan, and we'd expect alif and lam at the beginning of ash-shaitan, right? Or if we're saying, the servant of Allah, we say abdullahi, right? We're expecting the al at the beginning of Allahi. But that's not the only way you need to make that second part definite. You can make it definite by adding a pronoun on the end, like in this case, so you can have the evil of his actions, or I might say something like just another example outside of the Quranic context. If I wanted to say something like your brother's house, right, or the house of your brother, okay, I say baytu akhik, the house of your brother, rather than the house of the brother, right? That's a way of making that second word definite. So it's still an idafa, but it doesn't quite look like the kind of shape that we're maybe used to. So su'u amalihi, the evil of their actions. So let me kind of reorder the words a little bit to make it a bit more English sounding. So I'll go from the beginning and I'll bring us up to where we are now. So is the one who is upon guidance from his Lord like the one who the evil of his actions are made beautiful to him, right? That's what it is, right? Even though, it's important when I say that, though, to try to follow along with what pieces I'm referring to of the sentence. But the meaning, I'll read through Abdul Halim's translation of this up to this point. So, can those who follow clear proof from their Lord be compared to those whose foul deeds are made to seem alluring to them? So I think that language is obviously he's far more qualified to translate. I'm not criticizing his translation. I'm saying the language is the language is flowery English for good reason, but like the word, like for example, the term compared, like the verb for comparison isn't actually in the ayah, right? But it's if they're like these people, like are the people who are upon evidence from their Lord, are they like the ones who the evil of their actions have been made beautiful to them, or have been made alluring to them? وَاتَّبَعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُمْ. وَاتَّبَعُوا, the verb ittaba'a is a Form 8 verb, and it means to follow. Ittaba'u, because it's in the plural. Those who follow ahwa'ahum, those who follow their hawa, their desires, quite literally, or their feelings, their whims is maybe a nice word for it. From their desires. The hum on the end means theirs, right? And they follow their desires. Ahwa is the plural of hawa with an alif maqsura on the end. Allah uses that word in Surat An-Najm, where he says, وَالنَّجْمِ إِذَا هَوَى مَا ضَلَّ صَاحِبُكُمْ وَمَا غَوَى وَمَا يَنْطِقُ عَنِ الْهَوَى. Talking about the Prophet ﷺ, وَلَا يَنْطِقُ, and he does not utter, he does not speak عَنِ الْهَوَى, from his own desires, right? Good. Okay, good. So I'll just do like a word for word kind of like rendition of it, so you know each of the words. So question word. فَمَنْ, so who. كَانَ, is or was. عَلَى بَيِّنَةٍ, upon evidence. مِن رَبِّهِ, from his Lord. كَمَنْ, like the one who. زُيِّنَ, is beautified. لَهُ, to him. سُوءُ عَمَلِهِ, the evil of his actions. وَاتَّبَعُوا أَهْوَاءَهُمْ, and they follow their desires. So it will help when we read that in the context of the rest of the surah, right? It's a relatively short ayah, which yeah, just kind of poses a question, I guess, a rhetorical question, albeit to the audience, saying, are those two people alike? Is the one who follows evidence from their Lord like the person who's, even though they're doing evil, it seems like it's good to them and they follow their desires? Are those two people the same? And of course, they're not, right? Okay, so that's everything for this video. Thank you so much for being part of it and for coming to join me. If this is your first video here on the channel, then please go and catch up with the rest of the videos. We've got 13 episodes that came before this, so you'll really benefit from those. And that's everything for this video, so I really hope you've enjoyed it. And if you did, please let me know by liking and sharing this video, and please don't forget to comment underneath as well. That really helps. So see you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.